Ever hear of Joshi wrestling? It's Japanese lady wrestling that attracts a strange following, so of course someone made a game on the matter. It's a 2004 release called Rumble Roses. I'm no fan of you Japandroids, and I'm no Japanther myself, but I own this game, and you weeaboos probably don't. By virtue of your inactivity and my disassociative consumerist impulses, you've taken a small step forward by default to make up for the 2 gigantic steps back that is your life. I have a disc-only copy of Rumble Roses that someone marked with permanent ink. Hey, look at that, it's my copy of Cabela's Trophy Hunt. Hey, I have an idea. Let's review Cabela's instead. This is nice. So soothing. It's like I'm really there. Right there. Really there. Snap back to reality. I can't dilly-daddle-dawdle forever. If I want some meat, I could go to Arby's, because they have the meats. By the way, have you tried their venison sandwich? It sounds crazy, but it was actually good. Minimally processed, unique flavor. Arby's has some really good buns. They have like 3 or 4 different kinds of buns. The fast food world really needs more bread variety. This is the opening movie for Rumble Roses. There's more jiggling and gratuitous close-ups of their 3 or 4 different kinds of buns than actual wrestling. Permanently searing the shame into this offering is a disturbing moment of a woman chained up while wearing some kind of crazy suit. Now, you definitely can't feel any other way about playing this. It was always too late. There's even a mud level. It's even more too late. Rumble Roses is many things, but it's mostly a wrestling game. It plays close to a slightly lesser version of Here Comes the Pain, probably because Yuke's made both Here Comes the Pain and Rumble Roses. This is fine with me. Here Comes the Pain is so awesome that it can afford to be less awesome. Getting into the details of how the wrestling in this game works, strike and grapple attacks give a nice sense of impact. Moving your character from spot to spot isn't the most brisk thing. I thought it was kind of clunky, but the more I played, the less it felt that way. At first, I thought the run command was flawed. You can't change directions while running, but press the button and your character will run in the direction of the opponent. Just don't try to guide it. Let it do its thing, and it will work. Executing finishing moves and pinning downed opponents is simple. You earn finishing moves by filling up your character's meter with successful attacks and taunts. Countering strikes and grapples is also simple. It only requires a simultaneous button press of the R1 trigger and appropriate attack button. Character movement could have been more polished, but the controls here are generally good. The submission system in Rumble Roses is a real highlight. A character can put the opponent's arms, head, body, or legs in a submission hold. Upon execution of the move, a health bar for the targeted appendage appears next to a number. The number represents the required amount of button taps to break the hold before the victim taps out. It's a simple design choice, but a genius one. Most games that require an intense burst of button mashing fail to notify you of the exact amount of button presses you need, instilling in the player a sense of never-ending monotony. I really like that Rumble Roses gives you this metric because it removes that feeling. The camera bothered me at first. It's perched over the turnbuckle, turning the squared circle into a diamond as far as the player is concerned. This differs from every wrestling game I've enjoyed where the camera is fixed along the ropes. With that said, the camera doesn't make the game more flawed. I adjusted to it before long, but I would have appreciated the option to change the angle. 2 distinct modes of play are present. Story mode is a mode about a story for every character told through some of the most absurd cutscenes ever put in a video game.
But I want to ask you something first. What's that? How do you get such a nice rack?
Each character's story arc takes about 30 minutes to complete. It's more fighting game than wrestling game in that you don't decide your character's actions within the story's context. As far as I can tell, the cutscenes appear between player victories with no variation in how they unfold. Rather, you unlock a character's doppelganger among other things upon beating story mode with the regular character. If the character is a face, you unlock their heel persona. If the character is a heel, you unlock their face persona. The face-heel dynamic is expanded upon in exhibition mode. It's here that Rumble Roses has a vow system to determine your character's moral alignment. Each vow condition successfully met within the course of a match leans the character one way or another. Once you get her up to 100% face or heel, she's eligible for a title match. Win the title match, unlock her gallery. A nice, classy This game's just straight out of pocket. If I know something about the developers other than that they think breasts have the consistency of chocolate pudding, I know that the Ukes team had a genuine appreciation of the art form that is pro wrestling. This appreciation shines brightly with some really good animation. The wrestling moves here are flashy, but they're all moves that could be replicated by real-life wrestlers. Def Jam Fight for New York and Here Comes the Pain are better wrestling games available for the PlayStation 2, but those games can get expensive. I freely admit that when considering the cost-to-enjoyment ratio, Rumble Roses ranks up there with them. It doesn't have their variety and it's not very challenging, but that's about as bad as it gets. As sleazy as it can be, it's still a fun game.